We are recording. We are going live now. Should be good to go.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right, let's call to order the Board of Library Trustees Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, February 1st, 2020. Janet, roll call, please.
Trustee Meadow is currently not here. Trustee Rule,
Yes.
Trustee Smart,
Yes.
Trustee Suplet,
Here.
Trustee Tangney,
Mute.
Mute, Christie.
Trustee Tangney.
Here.
Okay, President Zick.
Here. All right, thank you. I didn't see any public comment. Mike, was there any other that came through or anybody?
No, I didn't see any.
Didn't see any? Okay. All right. Let's go on to item 1 then, 2021 ILPL, Illinois Public Library Annual Report for 2020.
Okay, so this, what you have before you is our compiled draft report to be submitted as our annual Illinois Public Library annual report. There are obviously some changes as compared to last year due to the closure and the pandemic. There were also some questions in here specifically regarding the closure and the pandemic and how our library handled it as far as number of weeks that we were closed and hours, our total public service hours for our library, as well as a few others. I'd be happy to address any questions, specific questions that you guys have.
Trustees, any questions on on this? I mean, obviously there was a lot of differences obviously this year compared to 2020. Absolutely. Hey, I apologize that maybe after all these years I should know this, but I was just looking 15.3 passive programs. What exactly are passive programs?
Those are things like the activity kits, stuff like that, where it's not a program where everybody's together and doing something together. But Shannon, do you want to speak more to maybe some examples of passive programming?
That's exactly correct. Passive programs are programs that have minimal interaction with the staff. So in 2020, that would have been the activity kits, the inclusion awareness kits, the page turners, the exhibit video views. So that's considered passive programming.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And I also noticed in print materials, the print materials did go up over 2020, and I take it just continue to add to our collection. It's 17.1.
We continue to add to the collection, but also because staff were not in the building as frequently as they were, the collections are weeded less frequently than they usually are. So as the staff come back into the library, those collections get weeded and the print collection will go down.
Okay. All right. Good. It's interesting to know.
If you look
in 17.6b, you said it's, they're talking about downloadable units held at the end of the fiscal year. Obviously that went up a little bit. What exactly, when it's a downloadable unit, is that coming off of Hoopla or something like that? Is that what we're talking about?
That's our electronic collection, right?
Yep.
Titled electronic collection.
That's Canopy, Hoopla, and RB Digital.
Okay.
And if you look at 10.1, 10.2, you see the budget comparisons of printed materials and electronic materials. So you see the difference in printed materials, our budget has gone down, or our expenditures have gone down. Electronic materials, it's gone up. So that's just a reflection of where we're spending our money. A little bit counter to if you actually look at the number of items in the collection, as Shannon mentioned, because of the weeding not taking place.
Gotcha. Okay. And obviously that affects friends too, because a lot of the stuff that we weed out winds up going to them too. So their supply is probably affected by that too. Okay. Okay. That was all the questions I had. I don't know if anybody else has any.
That's interesting though. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just surprised the way it was set up. I would have expected it to be more like an Excel sheet, basically, But
yeah, they've got the format.
I'm sure that's dictated by previous
Okay, any other questions on this? Mike, Shannon, anybody else, any more comments on it?
Let's see, you know what, I just do want to call to your attention, the monetary gifts and donations. Previously, we were not counting the Friends in the donation, so now we're counting Friends and Foundation in there. So that has increased significantly from 2019. The 8.14, the other receipts, that would normally include fines. Fines were obviously reduced, being that we were closed for 3 months, 5 months. I think, and then in 8.4, we have, we started to report the PPRT. For 2020, we're including the full PPRT amount. So that does include the initial payout plus the 2020 PPRT collection. I think those were the highlights.
All right. And hey, Mike, do you want to give a little bit of a, actually, there might be some people watching who don't normally get to see this. You want to give a little explanation of what this report exactly is and what it means?
Sure. Yeah. So this is the annual report that goes to the state of Illinois State Library, that basically includes all kinds of statistics and metrics for our library and from year to year. So every year, these numbers are compared year to year between us and other libraries. But essentially, it's an annual report that the Illinois State Library.
Okay.
And there's everything from budget numbers, visits, our assets, all kinds of stuff.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Christina's-
Mike,
All right.
can I just ask you, so do you submit it as such? Or do you submit it directly into fields that they ask for you to complete?
The forms that we've attached to this memo are how they're submitted to the state library. Those are their forms.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. And there's no further questions. Let's move on then. Let's go on to item 2, the fiscal year 2021 Illinois Public Library per capita grant application.
Okay, so here's another annual submission. This is our public library per capita grant application. Shannon has worked with the management team, the administrative team, and has communicated the responsibilities to the board and has gathered the information that we need for this application to be submitted. Well, Shannon, do you want to speak to this a little bit and the findings and how this will be submitted?
Sure. Well, this is the end of your homework. So if you do have any questions about the book that you were provided at the end of 2020, this would be a good time to ask any questions about those chapters. There were 13 chapters plus appendixes. But what you also have in front of you is the per capita grant that we will be submitting. It's not quite due until mid-March, but we'll be submitting at the end of February.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any other thoughts, comments on that one? All right. Let's keep moving on to item 3, the proposed 2021 budget amendment.
Okay, so this budget amendment is a amendment to transfer the funds or amend the funds or amend the 2021 budget to accommodate the funds that were not expended in 2020 for the Makerspace project. So in your memo, you see the approved project budget of $1.156 million. In 2019 and 2020, we spent $114,779 of that approved amount. And so our proposed 2021 amendment would move the remainder of that, the $1.014 million into the 2021 budget. At the bottom of the memo there, it shows the impact to the capital budget change for our 2021 budget. So currently in our 2021 budget, we have approved $1,025,000. That is, I believe the Miller picking unit is the majority, well, I think everything in that line. Oh, sorry, Donna, do you want to speak to that?
1 million is the Miller picking unit and 25,000 is for engineering costs to assess the youth area.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. So if you add the proposed 2021 project amendment, the $1.041 million transfer of funds from 2020 to 2021, that gives us a new 2021 capital budget amount of $2,066,236. So Donna, I'm going to hand it off to you to address any other details or questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that our total operating budget has no change. It's still $15,263,023. So when we combine these together, we have a total of $17,329,259. And when you actually look at our fund balances and look at our numbers that are unaudited for 2020, our fund balances are nearly the same in the end, what was presented in October of 2020 to you when we did our budget for 2021.
Great.
So even though it's going to affect our budget for 2021, we didn't spend it in 2020. Donna, if I'm saying this wrong, please correct me. We didn't spend it in 2020. It's being moved over to 2021, even though it will affect our bottom line at the end of the year. It still was money that wasn't spent in 2020 that we had figured on spending.
That's correct. And our unencumbered amount is actually much higher than the 1.041 that is proposed here.
Okay. All right. Trustees, this is one of those items where obviously we'll vote on it during the next meeting, but we brought it in to make sure that everybody knows about it. It's really what we do for these meetings too. It's for everybody to have an idea to talk about it. So I don't know if you have any questions or thoughts on this.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, it's consistent with what we've been talking about, so.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that was easy on that one. All right. Thank you very much. And this is going to be a record for the shortest meeting ever. So, it's a good thing we're all.
We're trying, you know. We're trying.
We want you to get back to your birthday.
Yeah. my wife's birthday, and yes, I'm going to have to do that soon. Okay.
You're sending us all cake, right?
Yeah.
You're sending us all cake.
We want cupcakes.
Next time we get together, I will bring cupcakes for everybody. Okay. Somebody hold me to that. All right.
Chocolate.
Okay. Any other that we need to go over right now?
I just have one thing for other, just that I wanted to let the board know. Early last year, we had approved the closure for staff day on March 5th. Obviously, with the pandemic, we're not going to be gathering the way we had initially planned, but we have been planning a virtual staff day, but it's not going to take place on March 5th. We're going to actually spread it out over the year. So we're going to do things every month. And we'll be kicking off probably late February, early March, but it's going to look a little bit different than it did last year to accommodate for the pandemic. So all of that to say that even though you approved us to be closed on March 5th, we will not be closed. We will remain open, and we'll be providing staff day throughout the year in a virtual manner.
Thank you.
That's enough of that.
I do have one question. Moving into tier 4, it looks like we will be doing that here in the next week or so. Is that changing how we are, the library's hours, or services? Is anything changing?
Yeah, we've been talking about those potential changes. In fact, there's rumor that we will go into phase 4 tomorrow. So we've been talking about we're going to add our study tables back. We're going to lengthen the visit time that's allowed. We're also talking about potentially doing some in-person programming down the road and extending our drive-up hours to maybe an hour earlier. So we're making small changes. Some of those changes will go into effect on February 10th. That's going to be the first wave. And then it'll include the study tables and additional seating throughout the library. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, I think we got a news release came out about 4 o'clock that they were moving to tier 4. You might
Okay.
want to double check,
Yeah, that's
Tomorrow.
what I heard too.
okay?
And is that groups of 50, I think it is? Is that what I read?
Yeah.
The max?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask the question then that I asked at the board meeting then. For this meeting, I'm thinking that it's getting to be the time that we really should start having the meetings back in the building. For certain situations, we can still set up Zoom calls and do things like that. But to come back in, does anybody have any issues with that? John shaking his head no. Careless.
I mean,
no?
we're going to let Andy Zoom, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
Andy.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, great. Then we will plan. Mike, the staff, is any issues on the staff's end?
No, we'll plan for physical meeting for the February board meeting then with virtual call-in.
Okay. All right, great. All right. Anything else? Any other that anybody has to bring up? Like to bring up?
No.
Twice, 3 times. Okay, great. All right, then we're at that point. Let's have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Yeah, second. Thank you, Andy. All right, Janet, let's do the roll call.
Trustee Meta,
Yes.
trustee Rule,
Yes.
trustee Smart,
Yes.
trustee Suplet,
Aye.
trustee Tangney,
Unmute Christie.
Doing that, yes.
I heard her. President Zick.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thanks for a nice quick one here, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a great night.
You too.